the eyebrows, we can also add controls for the hair. This piece of hair right here. We can also add some for these hairs if you want them to, like, if she does this or something and moves them around. She has it on both sides. We can also add those later to this hierarchy, but then you got to open up the rig again. So it's best to just make these choices early on, what you want to do, what goals you have for the rig. You can even put ear controls in there. Let's put a control for the nose. This is so that, you know, you can get like some subtle secondary in the nose or some movement with the nose, like flares in and out. Now we can put some controls on the side nostrils here, 1 and 2, and we can put one right in the center that we can just like wiggle and move the nose like this, wiggle and move the nose like this. Or we can put the ones on the side where we can go in and out, in and out. So it depends the kind of fidelity you want and what you're doing. Let's see. Let's put some controls on just making it where you can move the nose. So if she does do something like this, you know, we can just kind of nudge the nose around. So let's go back. We saved our file. Let's go back to joint. We're going to add joint nose. Just name it that. That's fine. This is going to be connected to the head. All right, let's move this up into place. Keep those attributes the same. We're going to keep the controller as a circle, and we'll keep it as a box or a cube for visualization of the mesh for the controller. We want to make it where this is consistent. So we want X down and Y out. So let's do this at 90. And then let's do this. Oops. Grab it on its X-axis. Or its Y-axis, and then go 90 as well on there. So there you go. Let's scale this down. I think the 0.074 was a good scale that we used for the other face bones. And let's move this out to in front of the nose. We can actually make this a little bit, go to front view. We can actually make this a little bit larger. I'm just trying to match up the axes for X. And I actually want to bring this back. So let's make this not as small. So let's do a 0.1. And let's have it where it just circles the nose right on the tip. That looks good. Probably bring it back a little bit. That looks good. So we'll leave that as the nose. And so now we're going to work on the mouth. This is important. This is going to be how well your character can articulate words and shapes and the overall look of the face. I'm just looking at the mesh and how the topo is right now. It's very clean. So we definitely want to have a joint on the corners. A lot of people put one joint on the corner. I've only worked with a few rigs that the riggers have put 2 joints. They put a joint up on the upper lip and on the bottom lip, so you can like actually get some spread in there instead of just having it pinched to the back. So let's take a closer look at the mouth and see. Save your file and see what we're working with, if there's even enough topo to do that well. You just got to know that when you start moving that, you will have to animate both of those to get the desired look and feel for the mouth. Because if you don't animate both of them and you start being lazy about it, it's gonna look weird and you have some weird pinching. It will be nice for the weighting when we start to skin it to the rig. Right now we're just setting up the rig, so this looks pretty good. And you can see what I'm talking about. So if I zoom into it, you see how there's a defined pinch right here. That'll serve well for having a joint here and a joint up here to take this, and then you blend these right here to both of them. So then when you open your mouth, if you look at right here, you really can get some stretch there. If you just put one joint, you're not stretching that. You're going to start having to turn this all weird and turn this one all weird to get this to start to conform, right? So what we're going to do is, let's start in the center of the mouth, and we're going to use the same, I like the size of these. We're going to use the same ones, 0.074. And let's just start from the center of the mouth out. So we'll do, man, I wish I had a Cintiq. We'll do, so I can draw on the thing. We'll do a center one here. And then right where we have this burst right here, we'll do this. We're going to do the mid lip. And then our very end corner we'll have here in between both of these, like to encompass that. Same thing for the bottom. We'll do one in the center. We'll move out and have one on the bursts right here. I wish it was like kind of right here. That'd be nice too, but we might do that. Just put it right here in the center and another one over here, because that'll be a nice midpoint instead of this one. This has a funky setup. And I don't mean funky in a bad way. It's just I like the conformity of how everything is like a radial star, like right here. You can start moving that around. We should probably put it here, but we'll put it there. So we'll do a center one. Let's see how wide this lip is. That's our center, space 1, space 1. Because if you rotate it, it'll still be smooth. All right, so we're going to put it here, actually, like my first intention. All right, so that means we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 controls. Those 5 and 5. And that's fine. We could do some controlling for the cheeks, just so we can get some nice, pushing up the cheeks this way when we start animating the face. But right now, let's just focus on the mouth. We only need those 10 controls. So let's set that up right quick. Save your file. Actually, let's save this as another version. Let's save as 12. All right, so let's create our joint. And the naming convention we're going to use for this upper lip is going to be to the head. The lower lip stuff is going to be to the jaw. So we want to select the head. All right. And then we want to call this do we want to use mouth? Let me see. If we do mouth, center, we can do mouth upper, center. So then we'll have mouth upper left, mouth upper right, mouth upper left corner, mouth upper right corner. And then we can just do mouth lower, and then that'll be how we separate out, and the names will be exactly the same. All right, so we're going to do mouth upper C. I'll just do, C for center. And it's to the head, and it's here. So bring this up. Let's first scale it down, 0.074. Let's move it into position over here. Might want it to be a little bit smaller, actually. We'll see. Once we start plotting these out, if there's not enough room, we'll probably have to make these smaller. We want to rotate this. So we'll do 90 degrees here. And then we want X to be down and Y out. So we're going to do 90 degrees here. Now let's move it into location. Yeah, we're going to have to make this smaller. And again, you're going to want your pivot points to be aligned to where you want the mouth to move when you move it. So just have it conform to the lips a lot better. What we're going to do in this case is we're going to scale this down a little bit more. Let's see what 0.050 looks like. We're going to move this up a little bit. We're also going to rotate it. Then move it out on Z. It looks good. Is that too much? Looks like that might be too much. Let's do a little bit more, 0.03. I kind of like that. That's small, but that's still nice. Make that even. Let's go back to our front view. Want to make sure these are centered. All right. I like where that is at. All right, let's start working on our next. Let's start working on our next one. All right, save your file. Let's go back to joint. We're working on the upper lip right now. So we want to have the same naming convention, which is mouth, upper, and then we can do left and right. So we want this to be connected to the head, and we want to do mouth, upper, left. And then we'll do a left corner. So head and create. So don't get confused with your left and rights. Your left is going to be on this side of your character. So I want those values to be exactly the same. So I think that was what, a 0.3? Yep, 0.03. And let's see, what are our other values? Let's make that 0. What are we doing? That'll be nice on 0. Okay. Let's save out our snippet tool. Let's grab this, and we can just conform this new joint to have the exact same values. And so this was 0, negative 11.799, and 73.257, 0, 118.101, negative 90, and then 0.3. All right, so that's in the exact same location and orientation as the other controller we just set up. So what we want to do with this is we just want to move it on our y-axis, move it down, and then we just want to rotate it and conform it to the lip of how this lip is going to move when we start to rotate. So let's move this back some more and over some more. It should fall right on the, right close to the line for where the pivots are. So if we grab both of these, agree to move them up, to spread the mouth out. It looks pretty good. I'm just going to rotate a little bit more. All right. Like that. Move it down a little bit. I want to move this one down a little bit too, more. Just on this line. I kind of want it to be on that line, actually, from looking at it more. Okay. Save your file. We're going to do another joint. We're going to do, I'm going to get some water. Thirsty. I don't have a water rep. I don't know if you guys can see me drink this or not. All right. Let's Let's go back to our naming. This is going to be mouth upper right